Has the SEC attacked Ripple with another similar case like Fife? Or will the case end in February? And will Ripple hand over the DPP to the SEC? Stay tuned till the end of the video to find out. But first, we are giving away 50 XRP coins at the end of the month to one random subscriber to start on their XRP journey. All you need to do is to like the video, subscribe and comment your thoughts on XRP in the comment section. Welcome back XRP Army. Let's grow the XRP Lab community by pressing the like button and subscribing to this channel to stay updated at all times. Jeremy Hogan says that Ripple will survive the SEC move to strike, and he cites the Kik Interactive case, writing, "Why Ripple FND survives the SEC motion to strike." In the Kik Interactive case, the court decided against Kik on the FND, as shown in the order below, which differentiated the Upton case. But the adverse verdict was made at summary judgment, not on a request to strike. According to the SEC lawsuit, Kik marketed digital asset securities to U.S. investors without registering their offer and sale as required by U.S. securities regulations. On September 30, 2020, the court granted the SEC motion for summary judgment, finding that undisputed facts established that Kik sales of KIN tokens were sales of investment contracts, and thus securities, and that Kik violated federal securities laws by conducting an unregistered offering of securities that did not qualify for an exemption from registration requirements. Kik private and public token sales were also deemed to be a single integrated offering by the court. The final decision permanently prohibits Kik from participating in any future issuances, offers, sales, and transfers of digital assets unless providing notice to the Commission for the next 3 years. Kik was also ordered to pay a $5 million fine, so the SEC is attempting to use the Kik judgment to support XRP. Jeremy Hogan claims that the Kik decision was the adverse judgment at preliminary injunction, not a request to strike. And it should have an impact on XRP. He continues that, in order for the Ripple court to differentiate the Upton case, it would have to allude to events that occurred outside of the complaint. For example, whether the SEC enforcement was uneven across the sector for years, or if the legislation authorizes discriminatory enforcement. Reference to outside evidence is not appropriate in a petition to strike. Instead, the consideration should be restricted to whether Ripple correctly argued the defense. See the list below. As a result, I think the court should uphold the FND. Whether or not the FND prevails in summary judgment is a whole different analysis. Any settlement would have to happen between January 19 and summary judgment, which I believe would be between February and April. Now, he is not saying it will conclude then. He is simply saying that if you're going to see any settlement, that would be your window to look for it in that regard now. With that stated, Joe Endoso discussed the distinction between currency, commodity and security in a Zoom interview. You don't have to listen to the whole interview, I'll just tell you what relevant. In the interview, he explains the distinction between equity and Ripple, as well as XRP the token. Saying that if they were the same thing, it would make no sense for us to utilize XRP as a currency to offer them with incentives. We would have offered it as security if this was the case. But only if they were the same thing, which they aren't. And to be honest, the separation between the underlying token and any form of investment contract that may be wrapped around it in any specific transaction penetrates the whole securities market today. He cited an example. In the foreign exchange industry, which is characterized by the active trading of many different currencies, currencies are viewed as commodities. If an investment banker were to create a contract using, say, a US dollar British pound pair, the buyer of such a contract wins in a certain manner depending on the relative movement of those two currencies over a specific time. We can even band it and say, within this band, you receive X%, outside of this band, you get 0, or you pay in. And I sell that derivative contract, which is the security, and there is no dispute that the British pound and the US dollar are both securities. The security is the investment contract I've built around it. And since securities authorities aren't accustomed to seeing that difference in the fiat world, they cannot possibly duplicate that same construct in that analog in the digital asset world. Joe made a clear difference, and maybe the SEC will dismiss the lawsuit if they hear this. Do you think the same? Tell us in the comments. In the same discussion with Joe, John Deaton mentions that if Ripple wins the right to access papers claimed by the SEC to be DPP, the deliberative process privilege or protected process, we may see a settlement judgment within 90 days. So, the DPP is a kind of executive privilege that shields material demonstrating how a government agency arrived at a given judgment or established a specific policy from disclosure to third parties. Ripple is the third party in this scenario. According to John, the Ethereum and Bitcoin papers get the same treatment. The SEC has taken the position that the Hinman speech, and the whole situation, was a personal view, and hence not protected, and it turns over chances are difficult. If the court says that all the papers are privileged and protected, it will be difficult for the community to believe that all of them are not. So, it'll be fascinating to hear what she says and if certain records must be given over while the others do not. Then why is it taking so long since she understands how serious this is? If the records are given over and they're truly useful to Ripple, then a settlement might come within 90 days of that. Or it might happen sooner, or it could take longer, but the most crucial aspect of the case, along with the fair notice, is that it happens at all. According to John Deaton, I do not believe the court will strike the fair notice argument, which does not indicate that Ripple will prevail, but it does mean that they will be able to defend it. As a result, the DPP privilege problem is the single most important component in this case. And maybe Judge Sarah Net-Byrne is simply crossing her fingers, and whomever it benefits or does not help knows it is going to be an issue on appeal, so she trying to make sure it doesn't get reversed. Is the DPP that important? Share your thoughts in the comments. If the court finds that the records don't have to be given up because they're protected, I think we're going to see a verdict, but I don't believe the SEC would have a lot of power, John says. If they had the documents, and I can tell you dealing with things behind the scenes, you'd be surprised at how stubborn, if that is the right word, the SEC is being. They're becoming emboldened that this is like a war. All the criticism that they're taking in the public, and how they're getting hammered by me and other people in the community. It is almost as though it is having the impact of emboldening them. Where they are circling the wagons and do not want to back down, and therefore the only way for them to back down. Ginster, in my view, has to recognize from a political standpoint that he is going to lose cryptocurrencies altogether. As a result, he should get Ripple to sign a check and then boast about it if he gets Ripple to pay $100 million. John believes the payout might be in the hundreds of millions of dollars, making it one of the biggest SEC settlements in history. They enforced the securities rules, and they did this, and it a major success for him politically, he says. It is unclear if it is in SEC or Ripple favor, but it seems that this might be the beginning of the end, either in a settlement or a very fast verdict. This is a great time that we are approaching. That does not imply, however, that on the day that the judgment is issued, everything is over and done with. Rather, it would result in significant disadvantages for either SEC or Ripple. Make sure to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Kindly note that the prices of cryptocurrencies frequently change, so by the time you watch this video, it might have changed to a whole new value. The information provided in this video does not constitute investment advice, financial advice, trading advice, or any other sort of advice, and you should not treat any of the content as such. The content in this video is for educational purposes only and hence should not be considered financial advice. Do conduct your due diligence and consult your financial advisor before making any investment decisions.